Hey guys, what's up? Zach Calhoun here. Just want to let you know that on Friday we had a call. It was an open call. It was really cool. We went through a lot of great questions. I helped a lot of people. A lot of folks joined the call. And what you're looking at right now is actually our book page. If you're interested in our Virtual Tour Profit book, go to virtualtourprofit.com/book. But the rest of this video is actually about an open call we had. So if you're interested in kind of some questions folks had, I also had some content around scaling. We call it the VTPS scale call. So just wanted to publish it here after this quick intro. Hope you're doing well. Please like, subscribe. Also, turn on alerts in case we add new videos so you can get alerted. And then, of course, check out the new book, virtualtourprofit.com/book, while it's still available. All right, talk soon. Record on my computer, and then if we want to get access to it, I can just post it later. That sound good? Okay, so I put together some really cool content for you guys that we can kind of discuss towards the end. I call it like prospecting at scale. Like, this is what we do. We've done for a long time. Really, for every business I've started, I've done these steps, and they're pretty exact. So we can go through it. But before we get there, I would love to just say hi and get to know some of you guys. I recognize like sometimes people's acute things they're going through or small things in their business or where they're started may not seem applicable to you if you're like, say you're super experienced or you're already scaling or you're already running advertising, et cetera. But I do ask for some patience and let some folks kind of talk and kind of say, hey, here's where I'm at. Also, if you have a really good, what I would consider, or you consider some good feedback, you're welcome to jump in. Now, if 30 people jump in at one time, I think that would be maybe a little bit crazy. So I might end up doing a mute all a couple of times. We'll see how this goes, but totally no big deal. If that ends up happening, at least we're trying to help each other. So we're all human beings. We're all normal. We all no question's a dumb question. Don't worry about sharing what you're working on right now. My favorite structure is no structure, but that doesn't always work. So if you have a question or something you're kind of working through, I kind of want to start there, kind of more of a, usually things go backwards, right? We start with content and we have questions afterwards. Let's do it backwards. Let's do like, you're working on something. I want to hear about what it is. I want to kind of hear what you're working through, where you're at in your process. In the VTPS program, we have a very specific action plan and process that we go through. So it's a little bit more like we can relevant to questions, but I guess this is more open. It's called open call. Really, there's nothing off limit. So if you should work on some ancillary service, just want some random input or insight, I'd love to hear about it. So let's do it this way. So the first person who has a question or wants to bring something out about in their business, I'd love for you to kind of punch something in the chat and say, I have a question, or even just I could put a 2 in the chat bot, and I'll just call you out and I'll find you on this little icon here and I'll unmute you. Sound good? So also in general, it's just fun to meet you guys. So if you wanted to say hi, that's okay too. Also too, just to contextualize. So as you're kind of thinking of your questions, Nate Theory's on the call as well too. So Nate's kind of our resident sales bro. And I would love for you to, Nate, kind of introduce yourself.
Zoom.
Let's see here. 1 second.
What do you mean it's Zoom? Bist du in Zoom?
Ja, dat is een Zoom. Het nervt me niet.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to listen for a second. Okay. I'm going to click mute all again. All right. There we go. So, so Nate, I'm going to ask, we will occasionally listen to people's conversations just for fun. Like I'm not taking life too serious over here. Okay, guys. So Nate, I want you to introduce yourself, tell about who you are, what you're doing right now for us, what your past history is, because I want people to know who you are too. So you're an important part of the team.
That's great. All right, thanks, Zach. Yeah, I'm Nate. I've worked in sales and marketing and management in a number of different industries. So I come to CloudPano from I've sold at another national software brand and a couple of other types of industries, construction, education. And so I've kind of dabbled in a lot of different types of selling, in different selling to different industries. So what I am doing for CloudPano now is that we are, with COVID around the world, there is a greater need for this 360 technology in a number of different industries. Most of you all on this call probably started out doing 360 for real estate or something like that. And then quickly found that, hey, there are actually a lot of other industries, other companies that are needing these types of things. So what I am here for is to kind of expand Zach's bandwidth a little bit. I'm kind of like a little miniature Zach clone here, and I'm going to do a lot of things that he's had on his wish list. You know, he has a wish list a mile long of things he wants to do, and so I am helping with that wish list. But essentially, I am testing out different industries to figure out what's the best viable way to prospect that industry and to sell 360 to that industry so that we can provide more opportunities for our users in those industries. So as an example, RV industry is something that we are trying to figure out. So we're going to the manufacturers at that level and trying to get distribution through them to dealers across the US and the world to be able to use our software, to get them familiar with what CloudPano is, what we're doing, so that when one of our users comes across an RV dealership and says, hey, I provide 360 services, I use CloudPano, they actually know what it is. And they say, oh, CloudPano, I've heard of them. Actually, these manufacturers are all using them. That would be great if we could partner with you. So that's kind of the goal here. Is it's a little experimental, but we're finding out a lot of great things, and we're getting a bunch of really good systems down for different industries.
Yeah. So when it comes to prospecting at scale, you have to have focus, right? So like something that I always have all the time, because I see every industry as an opportunity, but that's not good for any productivity, right? It's like a squirrel syndrome. So to be able to, so to be able to have focus and then figure out where an industry is, like where the decision makers are coming from, super important. So we always are all bouncing off each other. It's very entrepreneurial on our side because we are validating offers all the time. So we validate an offer, right? Cool. Well, what about if we raise the price by X number? Would we validate that? And you do that by booking demos and bouncing prices off people in a live scenario. That's the best way to validate your price and to validate really truly like your offer. There's no other way to get, I say, I'll note this later in my notes, but everything's an assumption until there's a transaction, right? So we got to get transactions, period. Because you've all probably been there before, especially in a high tech world like 360, we see this really cool tech and we think all these applications it applies for, but if the niche can't assign it to a problem and overcome a problem, it doesn't matter how cool tech is, right? We got to be able to overcome a problem. So it's really important. So we got Mike here who punched in the chat to everyone. It said construction site progression. I'm going to try to find you here, Mike, and unmute you. I'll let you take the mic here. Let's see. What's up, bro? I'm going to ask to unmute you. All right, you got the floor, bro. Take it. What you got for us?
No, I talked to you a couple months ago, probably 6 months ago. I'm really not using the site. I use it kind of personally for architecture, for part of our business, my day job, right?
Yeah.
So I use the site for that, but we are doing like our progression for construction sites.
Cool.
But one of the problems I have is the organizational tools, the formatting it to be able to accommodate such things. We lack some of the structure to be able to hand it over to a client and make it easy for them to utilize. And you guys have made some progress in being able to take PDFs and park them on the screen as part of the tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got some of the folder structures where you can start putting things in folders, I think was something you recently came across. So that but it's still a little loose on organization. And when they're having to look collectively at a bunch of images, like we've been doing stuff for schools going into construction progress so they can share the site with bidders and such.
Cool.
And it's a huge market, I think, but we need better structure and some of those tools to display the stuff. And even like got a couple cameras now that are 8K, and a panel head to do really good stuff, but I can't put it on your site because we have a 50 meg limit.
Yeah.
And so I'm hitting some walls there on
Sure.
this platform, and just wanted to, say that was, I wished I could use it for everything, but I can't
Sure.
as of yet. But anyway, that was it.
Yeah, cool. No problem. I mean, yeah. So you're talking about, I call it construction documentation or phasing, right? You're taking photos of each phase of the project, and then before and after type style. There's a lot of
Yeah.
applications. Like an example would be, let's say you're doing a skyscraper and you're installing the AV and the wiring in the walls, right? Well, folks want to see, okay, did they do it right? Right. Well, you're the proof, right? You come out and prove it, right? So there's application there for 360 for sure. What you're talking about is the navigation within a lot, probably a large volume or back and forth within tours. So we did add, so this could be helpful, maybe not, depending on your application. We added a feature called collections, right? So you can collect and add tours together. So the top rhythm is different tours, and the inside each tour is those sub folders almost, or sub pictures, right? So you had phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. You can just add all those phases into a collection per tour, and then you can output the links below. So that could be an element you could use pretty easily, I think, using collections. Like anything else, though, in entrepreneurship, like in business, you got to kind of do what you do well, and try to help the ancillary edge cases when you can. So if what we're doing right now doesn't help you, then I understand. So, but I would just keep track of what we're doing and kind of watch it, and because obviously you can use CloudPano for all kinds of stuff, and we add new features all the time. So, yeah, I guess my response is like, it may have already solved your problem with collections, but if not, maybe something will come soon where it will. That makes sense.
Yeah, it can't be all things for all people. Just
yeah.
But you guys, it looks like you've got a platform that, if you were to, or even offered as a side platform, and steer it a little more to that, I think there's like multi-vistas, and there's other platforms that are doing that.
Sure.
If that was something you guys were focusing on, I'd be taking a look at some of those other platforms and maybe doing a little mimicking of kind of what they're doing, so you don't have to draw input from us all the time, right?
Yeah, no part. Well, I like input from you guys sometimes, not always.
Yeah, right.
Jack and Mike, I will say on that point, we have developed a business membership offering. So we're partnering with bigger organizations, and we have even users like you that might want to partner at that level if you're working with a larger company like that, to do some of those custom feature types of rollouts. Our biggest limitations are time, and then staff bandwidth. And so the easiest way for us to increase staff bandwidth is to hire more people. And the easiest way to hire more people is to get funding to hire those people. And so we don't go for outside funding. We want to keep things in-house. And when we do that, we have greater control over direction of company development of features like the ones that you might need. But we partner with businesses all the time to create some of those custom features. And that might be a route that you could consider in the future, for sure.
Yeah, you got to pre-sell it. So like I had a meeting this morning on CloudPano Live with a prospect, and he was saying the question, because they're a large business, large company, said, well, if I had live streaming, I might be able to do this for training. I was like, well, listen, if you have a budget for it, then we'll build it for you. Right. Yeah. So it's different at the service level, or maybe the individual service provider level. But if you do have a relationship that's really entrenched with the company, and they're a large organization, and you want to partner with us to build something custom, we could do that. So that's definitely possible. And you got to think of it this way. CloudPano is not a stagnant product. It's a hosted product. We can update it, change it, make it better all the time. But the end must justify the means. So if you're trying to sell somebody something and you think a feature is cool that would help you sell it, that's probably not going to get much attention. Like, because that happens to us all the time. Hey, if I had this one link, one button right here, then I'll be able to sell this to everybody. It's like, well, maybe you don't need that feature. Maybe you just need to go sell something and then come back to us later when you have it sold. Not that I'm not trying to be negative, I'm just being honest. But anyways, cool. So I see a question in the chat here. So whatever you guys have, like whatever you're working on, I want to hear about. I want to be able to help. So we're going to roll fast here. So it looks like Corey Click said yes. I don't know if that's actually a question, but if you have a question, let me know, Corey. Albert says, this is great news. Albert, I'm going to let you kind of expand upon what you're saying here. If you have any questions you want to ask, unmute you. Is that cool? I just clicked on your little icon here.
Yeah, sure. Hey, everybody.
What's up, bro?
And we, like everyone else, started using your product, which I think is a great product, by the way, and we're grateful for all you do. But we started in the traditional real estate 360s, but we do a lot of other things. We're a web development firm, and we're FAA drone pilots, and we saw opportunities immediately in sites and construction. But for us, we see, for all of us, a gold mine in using this product in conjunction with aerial photography, and using 360s at various locations at different heights for tourists and for colleges and facilities like that. So to the extent it becomes an increasing opportunity to customize some of our words so that we can say, instead of tour this property, tour this town, or otherwise adapt this remarkable platform for those types of uses. I think it's really a huge opportunity. As an example, now I did something just outside my window here. We have an old building in a historic town. And I did a lot of aerial and other photography of a gathering. And when I posted it to Facebook, it said, I think, tour this property by default. And I would have loved to be able to say, customize that and say, see the event, or see what the party we had at here in this town on St. Patrick's Day. Those are my thoughts.
I'm writing this down right now. So social sharing text is an interesting one. Like, how do we make it broad reaching enough for everyone, every application? Yeah. Like we have a Porsche dealership who's a customer, and they said the same thing. They don't want to see tourist property. They want to see,
right. They want to see Bob's Porsche.
So I think we've already actually updated that text. I'm not sure if we'll be able to customize it per tour at this point, but maybe just make it more broad brushing for now. So that's good feedback. Thanks. You mentioned aerial 360. So there's a guy that I had a VTPS strategy call with. His name's Rob. He showed me 2 tours that he's working on, both aerial. One of them is of an equestrian center. So like equestrian center, I have no experience in this, but it's basically like horses and like this huge facility. Okay. Well,
we have the Georgia International Horse Park. That was the Olympic venue just a few miles from my door here. So yes, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So he showed me it, and he was able to create a $10,000 virtual tour for them, and they absolutely loved it. So really cool, because they're able to take the CloudPano 360s and put drones in the sky, right? And if someone wants to see these facilities, they can just look down and pick where they want to go. He actually combined it with Matterport because for whatever reason, he wanted the main equestrian stadium area to be Matterport. That's what he thought he had in his mind. So the tour starts off like CloudPano in the air, and then you click one button and you jump into the Matterport.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're working on here, what we'd like to try to do. And even almost go into a building.
Yeah. So exactly. So you can do that now. And even so, you mentioned some more generalized or customized phrasing. So from social standpoint, I noted that down. But from the floor plans icon, lead gen icon, all those are customizable now. You can change the wording.
Yeah, that was big help.
Yeah.
Now the floor plan can say tour this town. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, tour the site, map, whatever, which is great. So again, there's so many applications. You can't assume it's just real estate, right? So I get what you're saying. That's good feedback overall.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, bro. Let me see here. Cool. We got Don who posted something. Insurance, adjusting, restoration, floor plan. We need to have measurements and quick turnaround time. Let me find Don here on this. I got this big old list of people. So it's kind of, I know it's not a feature request like call. If you would like to request features, you can. It's okay. We've got 45 of us here. Vika, Steven, Sonia, Shane. Cool. Don, I got you. I asked to unmute you. You can take the mic if you'd like.
Yeah, I just needed to find out on that turnaround time for the floor plans. As an insurance adjuster, we have to have our files back up to the provider within 48 hours. Is
Okay.
there a way in that, is there a way that CloudPano can give me measurements? Perfect example, if I go into a room and I shoot 5 photos of the room, you give me the floor plan, but now I got to stop what I'm doing, take the measurements. Is there a way to streamline it to where those 5 photos, when I build a floor plan, each room will have the measurements of the room? Now, I'm not talking about like when I worked Hurricane Laura, where, you know, half the house is gone, but
Sure.
specifically, I worked in Texas with the pipe burst. So if I
Happened
could
in my house.
if I could just go into and do boom, here's this room size, take 4 or 5 photos, move to the next room, and then and build it so that I can come back and create that floor plan. I can take that floor plan and import it into Xactimate, underlay it in Xactimate, and Xactimate is what we work in, or even Symbility will give me, if I take a JPEG or a PNG file and I upload it to either one of those Premiere programs, then I can work and build my estimate quicker. And as an industry, Xactimate has, I work for like the #1 insurance company I'm an independent contractor. So when you have someone like the Big Red, so to speak, who uses exact contents where you're actually in the person's house using a phone and so forth. But the problem comes, they can't get the measurements. You basically have to tell, hey, Zach, what size shoe do you wear? Okay, can you walk from this side to this side? I can take pictures within that. Now, Big Red uses that, but Big Blue, on the other hand, doesn't use that program. So as an independent adjuster, I need something to make my life a little bit easier and quicker. Now, there's a competitor out of Canada that can give me the measurements and they do the dollhouse. I'm not really particularly caring about the dollhouse effect. What I need is the floor plans and to be able to get a quick turnaround time so that the Department of Insurance doesn't ding us or Big Red or Big Blue or whoever you want to use, as opposed to, you know, just moving it. And plus it'll help the water mitigation companies when they send me in for that. In one room, they put in 25 fans and 6 dehumidifiers. Well, as an adjuster, I have to go through and tell the size of the room and then do a calculation and so forth. Is there a way? And I've told some of the restoration companies, hey, you can get paid faster because if we come in and we take photos of what you have, all the equipment you have in there, and here's the floor plan, when you attach that and send that to Big Red, Big Blue, TWIA, or whoever you want to use, they are right there. They're able to actually see it. Plus,
very interesting.
As the contents, you can actually do the entire room. So I have another company that does content home inventories, which is required. And so we just come in, we take photos of of those rooms. And beauty about it was the hotspots. I'm able to actually say Zach's 56-inch or 55-inch television was purchased at this time by this date. This is what it cost. So as an adjuster, I'm gonna give you a spreadsheet, but now as the customer says, well, I'm going to give you this link and you can see what I had in my house.
Yeah, let's do this, Don. I'm actually super familiar with this process because my pipes just burst in my house. Okay, so like I'm literally moved out of my house.
Okay.
But the adjuster came, the contents person talking to me. We have all these things, these things you're describing happening. What you're looking for is measurements and automatic output and faster floor plan output.
Yes.
So what I think we should do, me and you, is maybe take this offline and look at maybe an insurance adjuster type needs list, and we can come back to it. So I do know that the majority of folks on the call probably aren't insurance adjusters, but I love the fact that you are, because I will always want to be able to place my application or put resources towards things that make sense. So let's discuss it more. Email me if you don't mind, and we'll talk more after this call. That sound good?
Yeah, that works.
So I'll tell you guys this, measurements wise, it's a good question. We can bring it up real quick. When an adjuster comes up to the house, they have a laser measuring machine and they're drawing a picture. So what he's describing is this time tasking thing. In an event, he's gonna move faster. Well, measurements wise are still relevant in the real estate space in a lot of applications. So we are actually, measurements is lower on the backlog, I'll be honest, because, what's coming out first is actually going to be a mobile application. So we'll be able to take photos with our phone. And the reason why this is helpful and important is because what's coming with phones, LiDAR is coming, right? So all these things are going to start moving that direction. So as you are wanting to create these types of things, technology is shifting and changing in that way. So you'll see an application from CloudPano on the App Store soon, which is going to be cool. And then we'll even be having a directory so people want to find pros. You'd be surprised, folks that go from, hey, I love this technology, use it on their phone, to I want to hire a pro. That jump happens really quick. So I think that's going to be help everybody. I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, cool. So let me check here real fast on the questions. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit too. We got John, have GSP question. Let's do support questions off this call if you don't mind. Thanks for sharing, Albert. Nice to meet you all. Good to meet you, Mike. I guess he's already gone. All right, cool. Who else is working on? So here's what I would love to hear about from you guys. What's a current project or prospect you either are working on now? Maybe I can give some insight, or Nate could give some insight of like how to maybe close that prospect, or someone you lost and you're wondering what the heck would I do wrong, or what can I do better next time? So like we always say, it's all about sales, right? So what do you guys have? Maybe a project or prospect you're working on now? Just punch in the chat like, hey, I want to kind of give an example. Cool, John. So John Ingris got something. Let's see, John. Let's see, where are you, bro? I got all these icons here. I'm about to say hi to all you guys. Hey, John. Okay, here we go. I asked to unmute. There we go. Got it.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, man? How you doing today?
Good.
Hey,
good.
hello.
So, hey, Renato, I'm gonna mute you if you don't mind. Sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
So anyways, I literally just walked in the door before this started because I was shooting aerial 360s over my apartment complex, and I'm going to, they're very interested in a tour of the apartment complex because I live down in Florida. We get a lot of people that move from out of state.
Oh, yeah.
So people want to look at the place virtually, and right now they drive around on a golf cart FaceTiming, and there could be bad weather or guys with chainsaws trimming the palm trees. So they're very interested, but I've never tried selling one of these yet. So any tips or advice anybody has would be greatly appreciated.
Sure. What's the property management company?
Hold on, give me a second. It's C Properties.
Okay. Well, I can give you insight to maybe like the property management and multifamily world, and then you can just kind of glean from that. For example, like I talk about Heather Inkins on my ads all the time, and she's inside VTPS. She sold a couple of big property managers, and now like within the next few weeks, she's shooting 40 properties. Okay, so like what happens is you get in with these regional directors, and you get at the top level, like the corporate level, and these property managers' main goal is to not only manage these properties that are in their portfolio, but get more customers, right? And then they keep their current owners happy, whether it's investment groups or whether it's individual owners. Their goal is to maintain that clientele and to get more of them, right? So what they're constantly doing is they're taking care of the books, they're taking care of tenants, obviously doing showings. So we see a future of obviously virtual showings, and their marketing as well too. So they have a budget allocated towards their specific property, and they go, hey, owner, this is like once a year, like October, or there's always an annual budget. Hey, owner, we're going to spend this much on marketing this year, and they approve it, and cool. And that's their their pocketbook for the year, how much they're going to spend. If a apartment complex is early on in the process, they're developing it, they're starting to lease it up. It's called lease up stage. That marketing budget is much bigger at the beginning. Okay. So if you see something under construction, you got to be hitting the doors. Hey, what's up, bro? I just want to talk to you, build a relationship. Here's what I'm doing over here. I'll love to help you guys as you guys launch. That may take time because they have to obviously roll out a launch, but you being there during launch, they're going to consider you. And a lot of times a property manager individual has to get 3 bids because they just have it in their policies. So it's good for you if you're new or you want to be one of those providers. And also too, there's associations in every city. So association, like for example, in Houston, we have the Houston Area Apartments Association. Okay. It's like 1,000 properties are in this association. So you can literally pull a list of emails from those properties. Now, it's property direct, not going to get very good response rate from those type of property direct emails, but doesn't mean you can't scrape and navigate on LinkedIn property managers and regional property managers. So that's like the guy, that's the boss of all these other property managers, and they kind of oversee groups of properties, right? That's the person you really want to impress and book a meeting with if you can. Because every property manager is most of the time their expense is going to get approved from someone above them, right? So you're selling an organization, right? It's not just a individual. Like the property manager has the power to say no, but not the power to say yes. So you got to kind of know that, build a relationship, and then go to the top, go above them as soon as you can. Who do I got to impress to close this down? You know, and vice presidents, directors, these are the roles you're looking for in these niches. If you have only even just one example, you can prospect on LinkedIn. These people want to be found. They want to connect. They want to build their list of followers on LinkedIn or whatever. With that being true, then you have access to them. You can already find them right now. LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So also too, email, like emailing and requesting a meeting, like say, hey, I'm the real deal. Here's what we're doing here. I'd love to talk more. I want to be an approved vendor. Like the bigger the outfits, like for example, Greystar is one of the biggest outfits in the US. They're in Houston too, big presence. Well, they have this whole approved vendor process, and you pay $100 a year and you get on this list, and it's all BS. They just make money off this vendor list thing. But doesn't really matter, because what your goal is to be the trusted provider within that organization. That's your goal. You tell them that. If you output some world-class virtual tours, man, 360 virtual tours are perfect for multifamily, that world, because the floor plans are spread out. There's typically amenities. You can price based on amenities. So amenities plus floor plans, and you have a floor plan pricing. They're used to charging hosting fees. They're going to have a property manager who's going to want to use the virtual showing tool that is CloudPano Live anyways. You can charge $100 a month for them to use it. I mean, it's just a great niche for the 360 virtual tour provider, and it leads to all kinds of fun, cool stuff. We've seen a lot of really cool tours come through in that niche. So I highly recommend going after them. Now, they're not always easy. You talk to a lot of people that are the wrong people. You got to try to figure out who the decision makers are and talk to them. And if you can, book an in-person meeting. Like, go meet them in person. If you can meet the original in person, you have a way better chance. The better chance is through a referral. Like, if you can get somebody who knows that person to refer you, then you're in. This is what Heather did. Heather already was working in the multifamily space previously. And she said, hey, director friend, I have this idea of like starting this virtual tour business. Like, what she said, I'm getting resourced. If I get good at this, would you consider it? And she goes, well, yeah, I consider it. Go show me some examples. So then Heather runs over to CloudPano and hops on a call with me, and she joins VTPS, invests and grabs the lifetime deal. And she's like using everything we had available to her. And then she went off and sold the contracts, so like she had this budding lead before she made choices. And that's kind of what you need. We all need a break. We all need that budding break, right? That big use case example. Now she has more work than she could possibly do. She's trying to hire people. She's always trying to hire people all the time, which is great. She should be doing that. That's what we all want to be. We want to be flooded with too much work, so we have to hire folks out. So I don't know if that's helpful, but
sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, the lead I have right now is for the complex I actually live at, and it's very hot, because I'd already started a discussion with them. I stopped in. They listed on the website that they have a virtual tour. So I asked them like, hey, I can't find the link to this. Can I check it out? I just want to, take a look and see kind of what my competition is. And it really wasn't a virtual tour. It was just a link to an app that was a FaceTime substitute. So really they're still just FaceTiming with people to show them around, show them the amenities and floor plans and everything.
Yep.
But they're very interested. So I got to put this demo together, but I guess, and that's great info. And the regional manager, I've known, because I've been here for years, I don't know, she's regional or area manager that manages several of the properties here down in Florida. We're already on a first name basis. So cool. I just got to put it together, this demo, and show it off. And I'm sure it'll be an easy sell. I guess part of my biggest problem is, how do I price something like this? You know what I mean? Like, I hear you guys throw out these big numbers all the time.
Yeah, of course.
It's just, I'm kind of new at this. I mostly do boats and yachts and stuff like that. And so stuff like this, it's just like, when people are like landing these big deals, I'm like, I feel like, oh my God, I'm asking too much. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm a little lost on that end of it.
Yeah, you just got to do it one time and it won't be hard. So I know that sounds like a really too easy answer, but just do it once and you'll see how easy it is. And you go, okay, cool. I can do this again.
Yeah.
So pricing is, that's it. That's all it is. It's just practice. Like I was saying this yesterday, we have weekly calls in VTPS. Someone asked me a question about closing a sale. Like, what's the appropriate wording or language? And I said, well, you just got to practice the wording. So like, hey, are you ready to move forward? Like saying those words in the moment, it's hot. The room's hot, right? You're like, okay, I just showed them pricing. It's $3,000. I typically charge $300. I've never charged as much before. It's hot in the room. I'm sweating. No one knows I'm sweating, but I'm sweating. Like this is a normal feeling. Okay. When you go to quote the price, if you have a relationship with someone and you have a lot of rapport built, they're going to tell you if it's in budget or not. Okay. Because you don't know what the budget is. But keep in mind, an apartment complex, great example, if they got a broken sidewalk, if they got a road that's broken, they're looking at a $30,000 quote. They're not worried about $3,000 if it's in the budget, right? It's the way it is. The roof on an apartment complex, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars to replace. Okay, so it's industry specific. Like, don't worry about what you've charged in the past. This is just a normal entrepreneur journey. I have always charged X number in the past. I'm not used to it, so I don't want to do it. And you're calculating the work you have to put in. Don't do that. Calculate the value to the customer and reverse engineer based on your relationship and where they can meet you. The first sale, it's okay to go down in price and find something that works. You're trying to build a case study anyways. You're trying to build that white paper. You're trying to build the lever, the weighty lever for the next meeting. Like, hey, we've already done it in the past. Let's do it. I've already done this in the past. Here's my proof. Here's the results we're getting. Here's why it's working so well. So that next time you name a price, it's gonna be double the price. It doesn't matter. So, but if you don't have a relationship with someone and you're just emailing out pricing, you have no idea what their response is going to be. You have no idea if they like it, if it's way out of budget, if it's way under budget, you have no clue. So you have to kind of fish around a little bit and find a repeatable price that makes sense for you both. But don't underprice yourself just from experience. So, great example of this, we have an RV dealer who's a customer of ours. Took us 2 weeks to sell him. He was so excited about it. Like, I want to use this. I want to use it every day. He's like, we have an extra service that we give specific clients. So we charge a higher monthly fee. It's not just like $49 a month. It is, we onboard them, we train them, we give them an account manager. It's a whole thing. It's a whole service we involve. But we're always playing with pricing because we're entrepreneurs too, right? So we started off at a certain tier pricing and he bit, said, cool, let's do it. And cool, we did it. And when he bit so fast that I was like, let's try a higher price next time. So next time, Nate and I are sending out almost double the price. And on the demo call, I can test pricing. On the email, I can't test pricing. On a message, even on my website, I can barely test pricing because price thresholds are all about value. So if I did a good job presenting the value and this is an apartment complex that has 200 plus units, and I add 10 tenants this next year from my virtual tour, virtual showing, like, you know how much equitable value I just gave to that client, right? Now, what we've learned too over time is that property managers really value analytics. And I was asking this question. Heather was bringing this up. We had some guys bring this up as well in the coaching calls. And here's why. We had to learn this. It's because the property manager just wants to be able to justify to an owner that what they're doing makes sense and is working. So if someone buys photography, even though it's great, they have no measurable output to know that it's doing anything for them, even though it could be helping them a lot. They don't really know. Versus the hosted tour, we're sending out monthly reports, which you can do on analytics automatically, by the way, of all the traffic and what's happening. Well, now the apartment complex project manager says, see, owner, look at all this data, look at all this traffic we're getting, look at all this, et cetera. So what happens there is that it's just proof that there's things happening, there's life, it's bringing continual value. So that's an important, I think, value there as well too. So when it comes to so I'm kind of jumping on your question, back to your question. But so what do you price this? With your first client, you figure out a price that works for both of you. I can't give you an exact number, but you got to figure out, hey, listen, like let's say hypothetically you were charging $3,000 for a property. You say typically it's $3,000, and you kind of pause for a second, and just let them either go whoa or let them go, oh, okay, cool. But for you, I'll make it $2,600 just because we're friends and I want to build a portfolio anyways. I want to have this and leverage this for next person. If you're going to charge hosting, you're going to want to lead with hosting first. Hey, David, I see your question over there. There is, if you literally Google how to send monthly reports on Google Analytics, there'll be an article that pops up and a step-by-step guide to it. I found it before in the past. I'll find it for you. Also, David, sorry to jump off you for a second here. I just found out that we actually can track clicks on the lead gen clicks and go really deep on analytics, but it's going to require Clayton to tell me how to do it. Okay. Anyways, so back to your question. So I think flinch pricing is your best bet. There's a lot of different price strategies you can use. I think hosting is important. Monthly recurring is really important. They expect to pay it anyways. Be okay with being honest and saying, this is my first one. So I'm going to hook you up with a deal. I'm still figuring some stuff out. So if I have to come back and make more edits or do something different, and then in your case, you live there. So you can have no reason why you can't fix stuff and edit it up and change it. What a great place to start, right? Versus somewhere that's an hour away. Then you got, or in Tennessee or whatever, that's a little harder. But then of course too, there's also local assets you can also reach out to. So it's not like you can't do it. Is that helpful? I'm just trying to give some insight, but I'm not giving the exact answer.
Hey, I appreciate it. And I just wanted to throw one more quick thing out there that it would be awesome if we had kind of some internal referral network in between us, just for like pro members. So like people are like, hey, I know somebody that needs something in Orlando, and somebody could go on a Google map and find one of us that are all kind of teammates in this and be like, hey man, I know somebody here that needs something, or I sold the job here, you shoot it and I'll cut you a piece of it or something. You know what I mean? Like a way we could kind of like network and work together in that sense. Like if there was like I said, like a Google map with points of, where our pro members are, Yeah,
it's a good idea. So we're gonna put something together like that. And we use the search engine. We use an engine that didn't perform like I want to perform. So I didn't release it to everybody, and I didn't blast it out too much. I did kind of, but it didn't. The search function didn't work like I wanted it to. So I was like, I'm not going to push this right now. But we call it a directory place. Like we're going to have a directory of pros that are like probably certified in some way as well too. So because if you can just buy on a directory, you're not certified. I'm not necessarily. It has to be some kind of separation there, right? Because a lot of folks, a lot of users, a lot of folks will say, "I'm certified. I do a terrible job," right? So you got to kind of have that like professional network. But yeah, it's a good idea. Also, too, like CloudPano has a ton of traffic. So here's what I'm going to experiment with in the future. Probably a tab that says "Find a Pro." And if someone punches in a zip code or like where they're at, I may be able to connect you guys with people who are like raising their hands saying, "I want to hire somebody," So that's coming, and it's like just more of an idea right now. But it makes sense, right? It's like, what if we can connect our people with customers? I mean, that makes sense to me. But anyways, cool. Thanks for your question, and excited to see your tour come through, bro. Close the deal, whatever it takes. The first one is the hardest one. Get it done. And after that, no problem. After that, bro, you can scale out and push. Okay, cool. Man, I talk so much. Okay. We'll do one more question, and then I'm going to show y'all some content that I think it's really powerful. I may have to rush through it because we probably have less time than some of you guys have lives to get back to, I'm sure. Let's see.
Hey, just real quick while you're getting that up and running, you guys, I am also trying to answer some questions in the chat, and so if you guys don't get your questions answered, I'm going to drop my email in there, and you can email Zach and I, and you can ask your questions. So feel free to do that as well if we run out of time here.
Yeah, Kevin asked about Google Analytics. You can use someone else's analytics code if you want to. It's just any code should work fine, but you have to input the correct URL into Google Analytics. I need to make a gosh dang analytics tutorial. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, we're working on it. He's actually asking if you can stack analytics codes into one tour. So you use multiple codes to where it's feeding information to different accounts instead of just having one account per tour, I believe. Kevin, you can correct us if you're wrong on that. If we're wrong.
Yeah, if I have one code for all my stuff, my company.
Right.
And I get another broker somewhere else, Ashley or something, and they want to track it. Since they're not hosting it, I'm hosting on my CloudPano. I wish I had multiple that I could choose. So I could say, oh, this one's for so-and-so. I'm going to use this code as opposed to my personal one. And like you said, stack them up. I don't necessarily need them all tracking together, although that would be nice too if I could track mine and a secondary. But having that is like instant sales tool because then I don't have to worry about nothing. And they can just go to their Google Analytics and pull up their own reports, and I don't have to touch it or deal with it. So
yeah, once you set it, you can do that. Yeah.
So the analytics codes are a per tour basis, so you could do that. You could set it up like that. As long as they've got their code, you can put that into one of your tours that you want to track for them. You just
tried doing that, and it just seemed like it blanketed my whole account. All of a sudden, every tour I had was bouncing off theirs, as opposed to having one my tour with his Google Analytics and another. Now, you might have fixed this in the past month or two because I'm pretty lazy about keeping up with what y'all actually doing. But I just know that that was one issue I had a year ago, and I just never revisited.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, we're gonna write that down and check it out and make sure it's working properly. And
I have a feeling that was a bug in the past that we fixed. That's my feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me share my screen real quick here, because I promised some content, so I want to make sure I come through here, and also to everyone's ideas or questions maybe a little bit. So hopefully this is helpful. Okay, so just a quick background. Me and my team, we're doing two things all the time. We're helping our current customer base, our current niche, our current clients, and we're prospecting into new niches and trying out offers and trying to scale into like edge out our way into new places, right? Turns out there's a lot of applications for 360 and for software itself. So we look for owner operators, people who like run their own software, right? So how do we do this? How do we like handle a large database? Okay, this is just my notes. You don't have to read them if you don't want to, but you can. And how do we put our messaging in front of as many eyeballs as possible so we can set up the most demos at scale and then obviously close down a percentage of those into customers, right? Well, I have heard in the past, and maybe this is, bad coaching from me. I've heard people starting to do email campaigns, but doing them at a very low scale. So 30 companies at a time, et cetera. Well, what I want you to be able to do is efficiently each month load up at least 1,000 prospects into your pipeline and automatically prospect them and go after your niche at scale. What does tend to happen is that when we get a lot of customers, we focus on fulfillment, and that's okay because you should always be serving your current customers first, but we have a tendency to let the front of the pipeline dwindle a little bit. This is why service-based companies oftentimes have this ebb and flow of customers because they work on getting more customers, get a bunch of customers, and they kind of let them up and kind of they let them front of the funnel a little bit because they're too busy. And then kind of some of those customers in the future, the customer base kind of starts to dwindle some, and you push more customers and it goes back up. So it's called ebb and flow. It's very natural in service-based business. My dad owns a construction company. This happens to him all the time. He's like, I can't figure it out. One day we're so busy. Next day we're fighting for business. And I'm like, well, yeah, Pops. I mean, you got to focus on the front end. Anyways, I don't like coaching my dad though. You know how that goes. Okay. So what is prospecting at scale and why is it so powerful? So to be able to validate an offer, you must book demos with prospects to test offers and test price points. So we just talked about a moment ago about, hey, how do I price an apartment complex? Well, you got to test a price and do some flinch pricing. Hopefully there's a relationship already built, but you need to demo people. This is the first step in any niche you're trying to break into. Even if you like already established there, you want to try something new, you got to book demos, right? So everything is an assumption without a transaction. That's why I mentioned earlier. Let's not assume that I had this great idea without people paying me money, right? They make sure somebody pays you first, even if it's just a little bit. That's how you validate your niche, right? So test prices at the end of multiple demos, right? Throw out an offer. You never know if your pricing is too low until someone says yes, right? At a higher price than you ever could expect. So determine, I'm gonna shoot here. Let me see if I got some people jumping in accidentally. So I'm gonna try to, I guess when I'm sharing my screen, it's a little bit harder. If there's a mute button, I'm sure we'll I'll find it. I'll find it, guys, I promise. Here we go, mute all, got it. Oh, here we go. Look, you cannot unmute yourself. Okay, now you're stuck. Okay, I'll let y'all do that later. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna Zoom newbie still. You're using it. Okay, so this is what me and Nate do this all the time. This is funny. I'm like staring at my notes of like stuff we do all the time. Okay, so once I have validated niche and an offer, I can now message my niche at scale. Okay, so it's time to turn on the jets, right? So if someone has paid me, Apartment Complex 1 has said, yeah, I'm cool with $2,000. Let's do it. Great. Go build you a case study. And now let's take this proof and go put it in front of the many of the same prospects as I can. I just learned about a niche and an organization. I know who the decision makers are. I know where to focus, what to avoid. I know what to say, what not to say. And I'm going to put that in front of the right people, right? So prospecting is the activity of messaging and automatically following up with your niche at scale. Okay. So it doesn't require advertising. It's the cheapest cost per impression, but the highest time cost. So keep in mind, when you're prospecting, your time is of value, but has a higher time cost, but it's a lower cost to get your message in front of the right people. Okay. So if you have lots of time, you can message your niche at scale and book demos. If you're limited on time, you need to outsource your database and prospecting management. It's just the way it is. Okay. So think bigger. All right. How can I outsource this? What are the steps to prospect at scale? Okay. So this is what we do. This is really important. These are kind of the more the minute technical steps. And that's okay. You just got to do this right. Okay. Don't build up all this value being able to create either photography, videography, or virtual tour services and not actually do your prospecting correctly. Just do the small things right. Take the extra step. Okay. If you're going to do it right. Okay. So how do you do that? Okay. You have to have a home base. So have your own domain name, right? We all probably have one. Have a website set up. On the website, clearly explain your services, show examples, show testimonials, show case studies if you got them, right? If you don't got them, it's okay. Use some demos from CloudPano if you need to. You need to pass the scroll fatigue test, okay? Why is CloudPano take a lot of scrolling? Because I want somebody who comes to put in some work and go, I'm tired of scrolling, okay? These guys are real, okay? Your homepage should be the same way. I shouldn't be able to scroll through it really fast. Otherwise, I'm moving on to something else, okay? The point of your homepage is to pass that quick check of legitimacy before someone responds to your email, okay? If someone's interested in what you have to offer, they might put in a quick check on that homepage to see, is this have a real homepage or is it like on a 404 on me, right? So especially if you're asking for a meeting, right? The more case studies and proof you have in your emails and messaging, the less important a robust, beautiful website matters. But it's important still to have one, right? That's why we have a website template in VTPS, right? So setting up your email, okay? You got your website set up, got your home base set up. You need to properly set up an email for prospecting, and you must have 3 things: DMARC, DKIM, and SPF settings set up, record setup. It's like telling the ISP, telling the internet service provider, hey, this email is legitimate, okay? A lot of emails get used for illegitimate things, So you want to make sure you add on that secure. It's like an SSL cert for a website. Okay. So those are really important steps. Or a good rule of thumb is to use Gmail. Okay. Or G Suite to get started. G Suite actually has higher limits per day, and it's less likely to get banned if you start to use your email for prospecting. So G Suite, we have at CloudPano. I can send 500 emails out all at the same time, even blind copy if I want to, and I won't get dinged for it. They have published limitations, so you can look them up. Okay. Also, when you make a new email, new domain, you need to warm up your email. This is so freaking important. I could not, honestly, I wish I knew this 3 years ago. Gosh, it's so important. Okay. Your email must be warmed up. What does that mean? It means it must have a little bit of time on it, a little bit of days under its belt that it exists. That's number one. Also, you need to have random messaging going to inboxes, a personal and non-personal email. You need to be having conversations. Okay. It's called warming it up. It's telling the ISPs that your email is not being used for spam. Give your email at least 7 days before you start prospecting. 14 is better. Okay. Warm up that email during those days. So you have a new email, fresh email, it's for your business or maybe just for prospecting. Cool. Let's have some fake conversations amongst your personal emails and your business email. Okay. Use services to continually keep your email warm throughout the campaign. Stuff like warm up inbox. There's different types of services you can use to continually keep your email warm. What this means is you're not going to hit the spam folder. You want to hit inboxes, right? We do all this work, putting the database together, getting everything set up, getting all messages set up, and we hit a spam folder. Terrible. We want to hit inbox. Okay. And I've seen this happen a lot where I'm a month into a campaign and all of a sudden my open rates drop. I'm like, what's going on? Why? What the heck? It's because you got to keep it warm. Okay. So I'm learning about this too. A couple weeks ago, I just learned that you need to keep it warm throughout the campaign. I thought it was just at the beginning. It's actually not true. You keep sending personalized messages throughout the whole entire campaign. So I had to add this in here. 7 to 21 days. Once your email is warm, you should begin sending email campaigns. So let's add some notes here. A good rule of thumb when you're getting started for email campaigns, 50 emails a day max. And you can raise it up after each, you can raise it. You can probably, it's kind of like a hypothesis amount of emails. So 75 emails a day. Once it's fully warm, probably 21 days in. And then once you're at least a month in, maybe 2 months in, 100 emails a day. If you get up to 200 emails a day in your email prospecting campaigns, you will hit spam. That's just what's going to happen. Or you'll get dinged and your email will go away and won't be able to use it anymore. So this is really, really important. Okay. So 30 days in at least, you'll know because you'll see open rates drop. Excuse me. All right, next. Creating a database of niche contact within the companies you are targeting. Okay. It says where I was doing this notes with my voice here. I do voice typing sometimes. Okay. So using niche keywords and locations. You can build databases using, these notes are terrible. Using niche keywords and locations, you can build databases using domains. Okay. And contact names for your prospecting campaign. So there's also scraping tools that exist. You can find emails based on domains, even bulk domain searches. Okay. Really powerful stuff. This is how I got pretty much like a lot of emails really fast in a certain niche recently for us. The results will be large databases full of names and emails with specific niches and target locations. Note, to properly prospect, you must hit working emails and inboxes at scale. Okay. So what does that mean? That means you must clean your emails, your database, before you start your campaigns. If you say send out 500 emails and 100 of them are bad emails, as in you get a kickback, you will hit spam. Your email will get throttled. Okay, really important to know this. This is why people are like, well, I'm just gonna put all my emails into my email or in the what's an email active campaign, or I'm gonna put it into Aweber, or I'm just gonna email everybody, and you just go right to spam. Okay, you have to clean your emails first. You don't want to just use a basic email service. You want to use a cold email service, okay? And you want to get rid of all the bad emails. So there's email cleaning services that provide. There's Million Verifier. There's Never Bounce. There's all these different types of, all of their now, okay? But what they do is they run through the emails and they test if it's a real email or not for you. And so you're going to get an output is every time, every database I've ever used has had bad emails in it. I had to get rid of. Okay. So I thought I had 2,000 emails, but I actually had about 1,500 good ones. So that's really important. So this is why you need at least 1,000 prospects per database, because 1/4 of your data might need to be cleaned or removed prior to the campaign. It's really important. So once you have a clean, so you're warmed up, you have a set up website, set up domain, set up email that's correctly set up with SPF, DMARC, and DKIM settings. Okay, I'm talking fast, I know that. And you have a warmed up email and your database is clean, you're ready to start pushing emails. Okay, and you're gonna hit inboxes. Now, open rates are really important, and the responses, getting some replies, are really important too, to continue the quality of your campaign. So to increase inboxing and open rates, you must have a radio sharp copywriting. You must get a response. You got to be good at writing emails. Okay, they got to be good. It can't be just about you. Okay, so if you notice, when I send out email to everybody, typically my subject is the person reading the email. Why is that? Because I want them to actually read it. If I talk about me, I'm not that exciting, you know. But everyone loves themselves, so you have to be able good at understanding that and like really like picking up on the deep psychology of like, okay, I'm gonna write to an individual in this email. Okay. So great subject lines get opens, and that's it. That's the whole goal of a good subject line. Okay. So you need to create curiosity. So if I was to say in my subject line, oh, this is a bad example, Zach Calhoun wants to sell you something, or something like silly like that. Hey, can I use 5 minutes of your time? I want to show you our software. I want to show you my show you this cool service. Most likely I won't get even opened. Okay. But if I have something kind of strange, I've even seen really good email I've seen this one guy named Neville Medora, I think is one of his names. He's a copywriter. I like copywriters. I like studying copywriters. I like to see what they do. And he studies old copywriters and he looks at what works. And what he noticed was he sent out this list of 100 emails he sent out and like the open rates for all of them. And it's the emails or the subject lines that create the most curiosity, like open the most, not the ones that like answered questions or seem like they're going to be cool. It's more like ones that like seem like, oh, that's compelling. What is that? Like, what is this? Those are the ones that get opened. Okay. So quick question, strange question. I've seen the strange question work really well. Under like not even uppercase, like just lowercase. Like what's this guy sending me this weird email? What is this? Or it could be someone's first name. So you can input a variable into someone as first. I like first name a lot. It gets a response because again, if you're emailing at scale, you got to personalize where you can. So people don't like being scaled, but the truth is that's what you got to do as an entrepreneur. So make it personal if you can. Okay. Make sure your messaging is bulletproof, bullet point, quick share value, call to action. Okay. Never send one email. Expect a 30% reply rate after your third email. Okay. One email gets forgotten about. I'm a business owner. I get pitched all the time. I forget. You email me one time, I forget about it. I'm busy. I have 1,000 emails unread in my CRM right now, or 1,000 tasks. It is what it is. But the third email gets a reply. So you'll notice with a good cold email software that you'll see your reply rates in your campaigns, and it increases dramatically after the third email. Now that will slow down your campaign because you have a certain pacing, right? But so the more emails you send to a list, the longer it'll take. But this is really important because we want to get a response. That's like our goal. Our goal is a response, and either I'm hitting the right inbox, hitting the right people, right messaging, or I'm not. But I need to know. And also calls to action are really important. So that's the next section. If you've explained the value well, if you show an example, if you show proof, and all you're asking for is a quick 5-minute meeting, you have a clear call to action at the end of the email. This means you're asking for a reply and booking a demo on the calendar. So you want to automate this by using like stuff like Calendly. You can use Calendly with Zoom. So Calendly is an online calendar software. It's actually free to use. The cool stuff on Calendly costs. We have a team calendar on Calendly. Upgrade for that. Something I've started to do recently, which I think you guys should try, it's really powerful, is Calendly to a CloudPano live direct link. So yesterday and this morning, I had CloudPano live demos. We're jumping right into the live call. We're not doing a Zoom call. We're doing right into it. Okay. They click it. that now they have a prompt that says allow mic, allow video, and we're inside a 360 tour. And they know what they're getting right away. I explain it within 2 minutes. Like, okay, cool. I get this. It's pretty cool. Right. I want them to get it quickly so I can go on to the negotiation as fast as I can. So this shrinks down my demo time right into CloudPano Live. Now, I obviously, being the co-founder of CloudPano, am very biased to this. But here's the thing: this is my value prop. You can create these, and you can have sales calls on them, just like we're doing right now. Cool. Well, I know how reliable it is. I literally had a guy. I sent him a last-second link on CloudPano Live. I was like, oh, I'm just going to send this link. Maybe he'll use it. And he clicked it on his mobile phone, and he's looking down on it. If you ever talk to somebody who's kind of unaware of what they are at first, and they have just their forehead on the camera, I guess that's what we're kind of doing. But what was cool about it is that he got it right away, and it worked so well on the mobile phone. I'm on desktop. He's on mobile. We're sharing back and forth control. This is the kind of stuff you got to do to close down sales. Show them what it is so they get it quick. Okay, really important. So on demos, that's where we close down sales. And you have to be continually building your database every month. Okay, so you want to build out clean databases every month so that you can have a full pipeline up front. You can have a team do this. You can outsource this. Inside VTPS, we have a whole database mining team. I'm finding actually more tools out there to help us find databases quicker. And so I can clean them up and even import them into bulk domain searches. Because typically an email I'm going to pull from a website isn't like the info email. That's not going to always hit anybody. But there's a secondary or third email that will hit the owner. And small business owners, I'm just trying to talk to them sometimes. If that's the case, you can do this really quickly. So you don't want to test messaging, get responses. If you get responses that are consistently, so here's an important note. Yeah. So when you're blanketing, when you're first sending out messaging, emails or prospecting, you're going to notice sometimes people know they're being prospected at scale and they kind of respond that way. If that's the case, you need to change up your messaging some and be more personalized. You need to be more genuine. You're not trying to be a robot. You can't assume that just because I'm emailing somebody, they're going to want to pay me money. It's just not the case. They're a human being. They're busy. They're doing stuff. Send them a genuine message that creates a connection so that we can have a call and hopefully build some more rapport. There's a rapport bridge. You have to reach past a certain amount of rapport before you can make a sale. It's just the way it is. So you're getting started from the very beginning. You got to really understand that you're at a long journey at the beginning of a long journey to make a sale. So test your messaging until it's received well, right? A good way would be hey, this is what we mean. I do this all the time. So me and Nate will say, me and Nate, or just me, or just Nate, because we don't send emails together. But I'll say, hey, we're looking for the right person who's in charge of blank. And can you help me? That's just a very low barrier. Hey, I'm just looking for help. And if they get busy, don't respond, you're going to send an email 2 days later. Hey, just trying to find the right person. Here's what we're doing. Here's an example. Is that person you? Great. Let's book a time. If it's not, can you just forward me a name? I'll take it from there. So a lot of prospecting campaigns aren't about making a sale. It's about finding the right people. So you can book a demo so you can make a sale, right? Cool. You want to automate all these processes you possibly can. Gosh, there's so many steps here. It's a lot of work, okay? Automate, and outsource where you can, okay? Get resource, outsource, fill the pipeline, and then get mentorship. Listen, if you don't warm your email up, you don't set up your email correctly, if your copy's terrible, it doesn't matter how much emails you send out. You got to get some help. Bounce it off a friend. Find a business mentor. Find somebody else who's had success in this domain. I have a guy that I'll send over certain campaigns we're doing on LinkedIn, et cetera. And I'll say, I'm working on this. What do you think? He'll send back his ideas. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll kind of mold some of those ideas. Hey, I'm gonna make it my own. So look, you need to have that in your life. It's super important. No one's too good for mentorship. It's just the way it is. Yeah, and if you make mistakes, I just send out 2 emails at once. I have Gmails that have been banned. It's how you just avoid mistakes if you can. Okay, operate slowly at first and scale up over time. Yeah, so create accounts specific to who's prospecting endeavor, get coaching along the way. That's how you're going to have success. When I look at learning prospecting, I look at it as a skill set that applies to any niche, any business. It's not just about virtual tours. Okay. It's about applying a skill set to scale to a niche, right? That's what matters. And if I architect my business well and have higher ticket offers behind my front end offers, then my customer value shoots up so that my success rate doesn't have to be super high to do well financially. If that makes sense. Okay. I went really fast there. Wasn't my intention to gloss over anything, but there's just a lot of content there. I want to kind of roll through it. So we had this chat kept popping up and I was ignoring it. Let's see here. Okay. We got, looks like I'm reading some questions here. Okay. So can you make this document downloadable? Let's see what else. Oops. Okay. Good luck. Subscription. Just saying got one. Okay, cool. All right. So, okay, any questions based on some of the stuff I just currently mentioned before? You can take the mic as well too. Any quick questions? And I got some cool stuff coming I want to announce as well. All right, go ahead, John. I think you can ask to unmute yourself. I think. Let me see. Oh, I removed that option. Okay, hold on one second. Ask to unmute. Go ahead, John.
Hey, so I have a question, and it's related to doing demos. Is that I use my iPad, and I'll walk into small businesses, locally, and show them. The problem is having reliable network service, and I literally just was trying right now to download it as a zip and open it on my iPad Pro, but it won't because it doesn't want to run JavaScript. Is there a way or any suggestion of way we could somehow load a couple of tours so that we could walk into a place like a business and not have to be like, hey, can I get on your Wi-Fi? You know what I mean? Because you never know how cell reception is going to be. And
well, two things. I mean, number one, try to preload some examples. You don't have to have every image open up. You just have one open up, and you can present that way. That's what I've done in the past.
So wait, if I open a tour on the browser, it should stay if I pre-open it, and any of the photos, any of the scenes that I opened in that tour should stay in memory, or does it preload some locally. Of them? Or?
Yeah, if you just open up 2 or 3 photos, it should. I would test it out. Test what I'm saying is true. But it should work.
Yeah, it was just a problem I was just came up while I was thinking about demos.
Yeah,
thanks.
No worries. Yeah. So something me and Nate are doing, and we're kind of rolling out here. I clicked on that ask to unmute thing, but sorry about that. So when it comes to prospecting at scale, I kind of described the process. It's pretty involved. But what we're doing in the next few months is we're going to open up like our calendar, and we're going to help people do this alongside them. So if, let's say hypothetically, you're on the call and you're like, hey, listen, I got resources, but I don't always have time, right? Well, if you want to outsource your prospecting to our team, we're opening that up as a new offer, as a new service we can offer you guys. Now, if my team's going to put time and attention towards something, it's not going to be a lower ticket type ordeal. It's going to be more of an investment, right? So what I'm calling it is VTPS scale. So what we do is we set up all these things I'm describing to you. You can do this as well yourself. It may take 90 to 120 days to really learn the process and get it right and test things out. Or you could just hand it off to my team and give us 2 weeks and you're started, right? We have to warm the email up. We have to set it up to take a little bit of onboarding. But here's kind of the concept and the idea behind VTPS scale, which we call our scale. We're calling our scale product, and it's a newer thing. So we're taking what we've already done, what's already worked for us for years, and worked for me individually as well too, and we're applying it to say, hey, what if our users want to do this, want us to do it for them? it's a service, it's a done for you service. Okay. So it's new. We're rolling it out. It's also kind of in this experimental stage too. So what the product and the service will look like is it's a 90-day service, and we're going to prospect. Well, it's probably going to be 90 days plus 2 weeks. So 3.5 months, because it's 2 weeks of warm up, right? To get everything set up. But once you're set up, you're looking at 1,000. We will preload and create and clean and prospect for you 1,000 leads per month. Okay. So this is the promise in the offer. All right. And if you're a guy on the call right now, it's like, hey, I got resources, but I don't have maybe the expertise or the time, and I would rather keep my front end of my funnel full, then we will prospect for you. Now, this service is a service with a lot of time involved with it. It's a service that we can only do for so many people. We can't do it for everybody. So if you feel like you're someone who's like, hey, listen, I would love for just my pipeline to be full, and I want to test this out. I want to test out VTPS scale as a service. So what we're doing is essentially what the current VTPS product is right now is the group coaching call on Thursdays, plus the VTPS product, which is all the information and the training and the prospecting and the advertising and the tools to get going. And it's CloudPano Pro Plus for 1 year. So that's VTPS, right? That's what the program is. It's plus CloudPano. And now we have a new scale product that we're trying out. We're rolling out to our audience. So if you feel like, hey, listen, I would love to have you guys just do the prospecting for me. We are very interested in helping you do that. You got to be able to handle a lot of inbound leads, a lot of people responding, and be able to be attentive to that because it gets pretty responsive pretty fast. And it's a good thing. Also, too, it's like if you want to get busy, this is a good investment to invest in. Now, it's an investment. So if you go over to our, I'll even drop it in here. I'm sure you guys have seen it before. We have a VTPS information page, right? So it just explains what the program is. It has our testimonials and all the people that are inside of it. And some folks are here on the call right now. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, and I'll drop this in the chat as well too, there is a third tier. So there's 3 tiers. So you have to scroll all the way to the bottom to even see this. But there's a third tier for VTPS scale, and you have to apply for it, and it's $5,000. So for 3 months, my team will fill up your calendar. The idea is we're going to guarantee that you'll have a calendar full of people. This is our guarantee, right? So if you don't have time, but you have resources, and you'd love to see how much we can produce for you, this is our new offer we're rolling out. So it's very involved, right? It's a done for you service, and it includes VTPS and includes CloudPano. So it's kind of cool actually ordeal, and it includes calls. You can jump in every single week. Now because it's 1,000 leads per month and 1,000 leads prospected for you and clean, emailed, and on the calendar, we sell all up for you, this whole process up for you. We can guarantee it's going to work. We know it's going to work. I'm not even worried about how it's going to work. My question would be, how many people can my team handle? It's kind of my question, but I'll be involved in this. So if you're interested in this, I'm going to drop a link to this in the chat. You can apply, even book a time with us as well too. So there's a link below this where my mouse is hovering. If you want to book a call and ask more questions and see what it's like, no problem. Book a call with me or Nate. Will be on that calendar, and we'll walk through what we're doing, how we're doing it. What's cool is we do it for you, and we show you how it's done, so that next time you can just use it and do it again. Now, if you're doing really well, you just want to keep outsourcing your prospecting to us, totally fine. We can do it again in 3 months. Okay, but if you feel like, hey, listen, I got the reins now, I know how to do it. I'm gonna use these resources and plug it all in here and use all the templates. Awesome, keep rolling. But us doing it for you just gives you a big advantage. So if that's something you're interested in, you can apply for that right on this page. And there's a little link if you want to book a call with our team. So what I'm going to do is drop this in the chat. And this is kind of a private offer. So obviously, we haven't told anyone about this just yet, but it's one of those things where you have the option to do that if you want to. So yes, lifetime deal is still live right now. It's also a part of our VTPS Diamond tier. That's tier 2. So it's one of the hopes that's going to work. Jetpack, Wi-Fi. Okay, cool. I'll just read some of the questions here. Okay, cool. So yeah. So if you're interested in that, I dropped the link into the chat. I think here it is. This is our information page about VTPS. I'd love to have you guys part of it. Obviously, folks that are part of our scale product will be pretty close to me and to the team, and you may get to know me too much. That's okay. But the idea is this: how do we fill the calendar up consistently, and how do we do it right away and really push? Okay. My vision for this is that we have so much success for helping people that we're able to make a high impact across a lot of different networks, which is what I'm pretty excited about. Also, if you want access to this video and these notes I presented, so I kind of had this whole scale prospecting notes. Here's my request. Okay, I can send you this video probably because I'm recording it. You have access to it. I can send you these notes as well too. I'm not going to send you edit access to the notes. If that's okay. And keep in mind, it's just notes. It's like it's me punching it out. It's not like it's like this, book or I'm writing over here. If you want to get access to it. So VTPS scale, we'll add this here. Okay. If you want access to this, no problem. Here's my request. Jump to the Facebook group. Give me your feedback on like what you think how the scale call went. What did you learn anything about prospecting that was helpful? Did any of these notes? I went through them really fast. I recognize that. Hopefully on the video you can kind of watch back over it. Did you learn something that was helpful? Just put anything kind or nice in the virtual product Facebook group would be super helpful. I'd love to be able to quote you guys on that testimonial later on as well. So if you want access to this, add a comment to the Facebook group and then just message me on Facebook, or I prefer you actually email me at zach@cloudpano.com. I'd love to be able to send you that stuff just directly, right? And overall, thanks for joining the call. I appreciate all you guys' hard work. I recognize, man, we're all hustling and pushing on different space in our business. So my thought is, as I've seen so many folks have so much success, I want to continue that pipeline being full. So I want to solve that new problem that I think I've seen kind of rear its head. So that's our idea with the VTPS scale or platinum product. So if you have any questions, let me know. You can email me directly. You can message me or Nate. And Nate is also available at nate@cloudpano.com. We are hustling all day. I'm going to go enjoy the weekend here pretty soon, but we got a lot of demos we're booking ourselves. So if you are interested in this product, I highly recommend book a time with us and going over it, or we can jump in today. Okay. Ronaldo, some Portuguese. Yeah, we do have some more things coming with translations. It's really hard to manage, but we're working on it. It's like 21 languages we're trying to work through. Thanks for the time, Alan. I really appreciate it. Let's see what else. John says, thanks. Thanks for your questions, John. I really appreciate those. Yeah, let's see. Anybody else? I'm about to shut us down here. Let's see. No problem. Happy you're here, brother. No problem. Yeah, if you guys want access to the presentation, I'm gonna just send me a nice comment or your review on this call on the in the Facebook group, and I'll see you there. Yeah, JCar, thanks, bro. All right, guys, I'm gonna cut off this call. I'll save this video. Thanks, Don. I'll talk to you soon. Hopefully, see you guys. All right, have a good day.